Now, the ANC says it's all systems go for its National General Council that officially kicks off today. President Jacob Zuma will officially open the proceedings this morning. More than 4,000 delegates are expected to attend. The NGC is the party's biggest gathering in between elective conferences to review implementation of policies adopted at the last elective conference. No new policies will be introduced at this conference. Last night, addressing the party's Progressive Business Forum in Midrand, President Zuma acknowledged that the economy will not reach the target of 5% growth in 4 years' time. The main focus of the three-day National General Council this weekend will then be to move the economy onto a stable and progressive state. Now, for the latest, we are joined by our very own contributing editor, Vuyo Mvoko. He is with Minister Radebe, who's the ANC's head of policy. A very good morning to you, Vuyo. Before you get into the interview, just set the scene for us.
Well, thanks very much, Eben. Yes, indeed, as you correctly pointed out, we're expecting President Jacob Zuma to open this National General Council as he will be delivering his political report right at the beginning of the conference, which is expected to kick off any minute from now. And as you said, I do have with me someone who actually straddles both government and the party in a rather unique way. As you know, he is the head of policy within the ANC, but he is also the person responsible for monitoring and evaluation within the presidency in the government of President Jacob Zuma. So hopefully he will be giving us some unique insights and perhaps drop a few hints or so on what to expect really from the president's speech, but also from the proceedings later in the day. Minister Radebe, thank you very much for joining us. As I said, I mean, this is a midterm policy review conference which looks at how the ANC has fared in implementing policies that were approved at the last elective conference, where you and your comrades were actually elected to lead this organization. Just off the cuff and from where you sit, and having looked at the programs of various government departments, where would you say things are? Are we making progress, or are there serious challenges? And if they are you on top of those challenges?
Well, thanks for inviting me, Vuyo, and all your viewers of SABC. When you look at our policy positions way back in December 2012, we can say without any fear of contradiction that we have moved as South Africa, both as ANC and as a country, in effectively implementing our policies and programs. So the main focus of this NGC is to look at what we've done since 2012 and how we need to move forward. But in broad outline, as you know, that one of the characteristic features of the last conference is that we need now to move to a new stage of a radical socio-economic program in our country. And at the apex of that is the National Development Plan, our Vision 2030. So that's what we're going to be assessing amongst other policy programs of government, how we've been moving. But we should also take into account that we are not an island in South Africa. We operate within a global environment, and especially since 2008, there's been this global economic downturn that has also affected our ability to grow the economy to the sufficient levels to create jobs, to reduce poverty and inequality. But within that context, we are making progress. Oceans economy, if we can be able to implement all those decisions of the laboratory of the oceans economy, we can rise our GDP in the oceans economy from 50 billion rand to about 177 billion rand, and employment from 300,000 to over 1 million. So all these interventions indicate that we are moving in the right direction.
Before I ask you to talk about perhaps the rest of the interventions, let me just take you back a step or two. I mean, for a good few years now, we've been hearing the same thing, and we've been seeing it, and there's no doubt about that, that the global economic situation hasn't been favorable. But here's my question. Are you convinced as the ANC in your own minds that you've done the best that you could do, given the challenges. Have you, on your own, exhausted every possibility to make sure that the economy grows? The president said the same thing you're saying last night, saying that the economic forecasts are not going to be, we're not going to be able to realize that. But have you been able, as the ANC leadership, can you say without any fear of contradiction that you've done the best that you could?
We've given our best shot. If we look even in the manner in which we manage our financial resources, the strategy that government led by the Minister of Finance has developed in order of setting a ceiling in terms of expenditure indicates that we can be able to maneuver within this negative global environment in order for us to survive. So there is opportunity within those constraints. If you look at electricity, for an example, we have been this electricity shortage in recent past, but that should not only be seen as a negative or a constraint, but also as an opportunity for us to invest more. That is why, for an example, with this energy constraint, we have developed this independent power producer program where the private sector is investing almost 190 billion rand to bring in almost 6,000 megawatts of electricity to the national grid. So you can see that with the negativity comes something good to propel us into the Vision 2030.
What would you say, if you had to mention 2 or 3 really big things that you can say the ANC has done over the past 5 years, which are going to take us forward beyond where we are?
Let's look at health, for an example. Life expectancy has increased by 8, from about 52 to about 62 years, indicating that the policies that we started with in 1994 are bearing fruit. If you look at the issue of education, in spite of the challenges that we are facing in terms of implementing the student financial aid scheme, we're moving from a paltry 96 million rand per annum in 1994 to a staggering 9.6 billion rand, ensuring that more than 750,000 African students can have a better future with the education and the skills that we are providing. So in a variety of areas, we are trying our best in order to ensure that we can be able to move our country forward.
On a separate issue, very, very briefly, there's been the issue of succession issues that have been on the table. Women's League have come out, the military, the MK veterans have also come out in support of a woman as the ANC's next president. As much as the ANC has tried to contain the discussions or debates around this issue, it keeps on bubbling under, and then the Times comes out into the open. What's going to happen at this conference around those issues?
Just highlight that point. In the last meeting of the National Executive Committee about 3 weeks ago, there was a decision of the NEC that time will come, not now. The NGC, in terms of Rule 10 of the Constitution of the ANC, is a midterm review of seeing where we are in terms of implementing our policies and program. This is not about succession. So members of the ANC are advised to heed the call of our president and the ANC that the time of discussing about leadership will come.
Well, let's hope that time will come sooner rather than later, for indeed some of the statements that have been attributed to some of the leaders of the ANC and its affiliate organizations, the leagues, that have indeed been disturbing at times. Well, we will continue to bring you the latest from Galaga Estates, where the ANC will be holding or kicking off in a short while its National General Council. We'll be bringing you that speech, the political report by President Jacob Zuma, live from Galaga Estate. For now, though, it's back to you, Ieben, in the studio.